Welcome back, you beautiful souls. This is the next installment of What If Kenichi from the Mightiest Disciple adopted Naruto. In our last part, Hana basically just did something that is really, really bad. She pretty much did a signing contract without actually being taught, so she pretty much did a blood ritual, which is a lost art in this universe. Now, I believe this is part 7. I would have to look. Unfortunately, I don't have that notebook with me because I had to start a new one because I ran out of space in the old one. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring that with me to do some back notes looking, but I did listen to the other episode. My apologies for this one coming out so late and everything. I did plan on putting this out yesterday, like the day before, but I got called into work. So where we last left off, the ball had ended, and a white wolf with two tails was standing next to the young Kona as she proceeds to cut her fucked up arm off and then gouge out one of her eyes, tossing both to the wolf, who proceeds to then eat them and consume them. She then says, "Hanako, please save him." Now, in this moment, as all of this is happening, something, because people are frozen, like right as Kakashi is stabbing through, his aim gets knocked off a little bit because of what the hell is happening with Naruto. They're a little concerned because what they just witnessed with what Hana just did, and then combined with the Nine Tails chakra being released, and it is a lot. Kakashi looks over in a little bit of horror because he knows Naruto is the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki. Everybody in the village besides the younger generation knows. Well, some in the younger generation know it because of their parents, but hey, that's neither here nor now. So another thing I wanted to point out, I've looked up, I've asked people about this, I can't find any information on it. So the ceiling chains, yeah, that is going to be a big one. It's going to play a little part into this. The image that you're seeing, I forget the anime that this screenshot is pulled from, but this basically matches what the human form of these yokai that I'm bringing into the story will look like. So that being said, let's get into our story of Yokai's power. So when Hana basically tells her quote unquote summon, who has been sealed, well, has a contract, a blood ritual contract had been performed. She said, save him, basically meaning her brother, because Naruto is about to go on a fucking rampage. Combined with what had happened with Sasuke, then seeing his sister being hurt, self-inflicted albeit, just kind of broke his concentration. This whole time, and I can't believe no one figured this out, but Naruto's been wearing way more weight than I initially led on to. I kind of hinted at it But basically, Naruto, the reason why Naruto has had such crap chakra control isn't because his control is bad. It's because he's been focused on making the weights that are in his normal clothing weightless, basically infusing his chakra into his clothing. And the weights are made out of ninja steel, so that's why sometimes kunais are like when he got hit, it didn't really do much damage. But many of you ask, then why did Hana get infected? Because, well, Zabuza's sword, as far as I know, he could infuse chakra, but it was coming right down onto his head. And she just, well, blocked it. Basically infusing like a ton of chakra into a single arm, which got mutilated. So Naruto begins to morph into his, well, beast, like the chakra cloak, like, you know, when he went on a rampage after the 3-year training arc. This is basically what's starting to happen. His, like, one tail appears, this weird bubbly chakra, this thick, menacing, evil-like chakra people begin to sense. Zabuza and in Haku's basically laying on the ground, pretty much bleeding out at this point, but no fatal organs were hit. But if she doesn't get medical attention, they will die. Sasuke is barely conscious after the beating that he had. He's seeing what's happening with Naruto, and he can just hear, "No, Sasuke, my little sister, she's hurt. It was failure. You can't control the chakra anymore." As like Naruto releases a loud roar, like an animalistic roar. At this, Sasuke then sees this wolf with 2 tails basically grab Naruto and tackle him over the edge. When they land into the river, the water begins to evaporate. The two go at it. I mean, like, they are, like, Naruto has lost all semblance of reasoning and control. His mind went blank like it did when he fought Orochimaru in the second part. So after a few moments, Kakashi gathers himself, and before he can go to finish off Haku and kill Zabuza, he smells like the ocean, and then leaves appear in front of him, and he sees the young Hana like grab his hand and basically flip him over. And this shocks him, and the Build Bridger, Tazuna, and Sakata are just like in absolute in horror of the scene that is unveiling in front of them. And right when Naruto was tackled off the bridge, Sasuke had finally passed out. So after a couple of moments, Naruto gains his composure, is able to gain control back, and people can see Kakashi can see from when he was jumped over that the chakra from Naruto begins to recede. In the moment Naruto passes out, The wolf basically grabs him and jumps up before the water comes rushing in, and like everything. They did do some damage to the bridge, which it won't happen. And then Hana like says, "Sorry, Sensei. Please save them. They don't." And before she hits the ground, the wolf basically catches her, dropping both Naruto and her down, and then like a bright, like it begins to glow, and then it just almost seems like it goes into Hana. And then these weird markings over her shoulder, where like her severed arm is, and her eye begin to form. Now we cut to where, goddamn, what is his name? Gato. He, because I don't have this part written down. I have the other portions written down in the notebook I have in front of me. So, pardon me if this part, I will put out a 0.5 and kind of retcon a few pieces if I need to in it and basically explain it more once I get home in the morning and I get off work. So he's like, damn it. So as he's like Zabuza is utterly like he's a little terrified, and he goes to attack Kakashi as he gets near Haku, and Kakashi basically tells him to stop. If I don't treat this person's wound right now, they'll die. And Haku is even stopped by Naruto, who gets up and actually catches him, and he says, "Stop." Coughing up a little bit of blood. And Zabuza like actually looks at Naruto, and he has burns on his body that begin to like heal. And he's like, please, no more. And right as that, Gato and his men show up. And Naruto basically had done his Taka no Jutsu on Zabuza, who, mind you, is a little beat up, but still has the use of his arms. Because the amount of bloodlust that Naruto had put on pretty much made Sakura like faint because of how useless she is at this point in the story. And really like unnerved Zabuza, and so he turns to Gato and he's like, I thought they would kill you two. Anyway, I've got a lot more men, and I'm not gonna pay you two. You failed in your mission. This just angers Zabuza. And Naruto just like throws him like a kunai that he has while he's like kind of collapsing back to like the ground, because he's still really tired. Like his body, like he is starting to heal because of the nine tails inside of him. And Zabuza, he goes fucking coup de grace against all of them. He gets like stabbed in the arm. He switches over the kunai, then grabs like as he's killing like another person. He basically like drops the kunai and grabs their sword and proceeds to like just absolutely destroy Gato and his men. He then stops like right at Gato's neck with the sword and says, I should have never trusted you. And Gato's like, please, don't kill me. I'll give you your money. Just don't kill me. And Zabuza just looks at him and grins. Haku was right. should have never accepted your work. Die! As he just slices right through like Gato's neck, decapitating, blood splurting out as the body drops and the head just rolls. He then turns around and he basically drops like the sword and begins to walk towards Kakashi. Kakashi gets up and goes into a fighting stance, and Zabuza says, holding his arm, he's like, is Haku okay? And Kakashi realizes that Zabuza isn't coming at him with killing intent. Then right as he gets near, like, Zabuza collapses. Kakashi is standing there, and he, like, Tazuna is standing there, and Naruto is going in and out of consciousness. Like Kakashi is just really worried. So Tazuna's like, well, we should get them out of here. And at that, the village shows up, and they just see like all these bodies laying on the bridge, and they see Gato's head, and they're a little horrified about what had happened. Tazuna says that he needs help. They need help carrying these kids in the two right here to his house. A few after, like on the way there, like Sasuke wakes up and he sees like some villagers carrying Zabuza and Haku. And then like Sakura had come to because she wasn't really hurt. She just fainted because of the bloodlust that Naruto was emitting. And once they get to Tazuna's house and they get Naruto, Hana, and Haku and Zabuza in like beds, and after like a couple of hours, Naruto comes to. He's bandaged up, and he says he goes, Hana, where's Hana? And Kakashi like grabs him and he's like, Naruto, calm down, Naruto. She's right here. She's fine. But Naruto looks over in horror and he's like, it wasn't a dream. And Kakashi then asks him, like, what did you do back there, Naruto? You showed power. You showed a power that. And Naruto goes, Kakashi-sensei, I thought you knew what I was. And Kakashi's like his uncovered eye goes wide, and he's like, so you know about the ninth verse. And Naruto's like, yeah, I had something happen a couple of months ago that kind of confirmed it. I've always thought that something about me and the Nine Tails was just connected. And this is when Kakashi says, what else do you know? And Naruto's like, well, all I know is that the fourth Hokage sealed him inside of me on the day I was born. And I was born on the day of the Nine Tails attack. And Kakashi is like, well then, Naruto, you and your sister just need to rest. And then Naruto asks, like, is Sasuke okay? And he just hears from outside, Naruto, I'm okay, but fuck, what the hell, dude? And also Sakura is there, and she kind of squeals a little bit. And Kakashi says, you know, you two should just already come in. There's a lot we need to discuss as a team. And, well, they come in. Kakashi makes sure no one else is around that can hear, and then he proceeds to explain that Naruto is indeed the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, which really shocks Sasuke and Sakura, and they're a little concerned looking at Naruto, and then Naruto just says, "I'm sorry, guys, I didn't tell you. Probably think I'm a monster." And this is when Sasuke looks over at Hana, and he's like, "Naruto, I don't like you right now, but you're no monster." And he's kind of questioning if he should tell Naruto about what he said. Sakura didn't hear this. She's a little concerned, and then she looks over at Hana, and she begins to cry, and Naruto's like, "What, did I say something wrong, Sakura?" And she's like, "No, it's just, I failed. My team got hurt. It was useless. I didn't do anything." This is when, to her joy and amazement by the rest of them, Sasuke puts his hand on her shoulder, and he's like, "You weren't useless. You did the job, Sakura. You protected Tazuna. That was our main goal, regardless of what happened. We all failed, Hana. We should have been stronger. Should have been stronger." As Sasuke trails off into thought, looking out the window, thinking that if he was so weak that he couldn't even beat these, and he knows Itachi must be stronger than this, and this just burns inside of him, makes his hatred even stronger, his hate at Itachi for what he did, and then his hatred for himself because he wasn't strong enough to deal with these such weak ninja in his mind. So after a couple of days, Hana hasn't woken up. Kakashi has sent a letter, and Naruto is completely recovered after a day. Then when Naruto comes down, he freaks out a little bit because Zabuza is sitting there, and he goes to attack, but Kakashi stops him. And he's like, "Kakashi-sensei!" And Kakashi then says, "Naruto, there's also this matter at hand." He then proceeds to say, "You know that other ninja that was with," looking at Zabuza with still not actually trusting him. He then says, "We've struck a deal of sorts. Zabuza will stay here, and we'll take Haku, was it, back to the village as a good fate." And Naruto relaxes a little bit, and Zabuza kind of laughs. "Didn't get a chance to kill you, kid. That bloodlust she showed off on the bridge was amazing." Kakashi glares at him, and then he's like, "I owe you an apology. It's true. Haku's not meant for this life of a rogue ninja. Please, take him with you guys, and give him a home, something I could never do." And Naruto's like, "What about you?" And this is when Tazuna speaks up, and bringing bowls to the table. "Naruto, because of you, well, we gained contract of sorts. Zabuza then like grins and he's like, yeah, money's good, and I can possibly redeem myself. Naruto like inquires, what's going on? Tazuna then speaks up again, and he's like, well, you see, Zabuza here. He's agreed to stay in the village and be my personal bodyguard. And Naruto's like, why would he do that? And Zabuza just laughs. Kid, I thought you would be smarter than that. Money. Obviously, it's money. The village is gonna give me everything Gato had as far as money goes. They're gonna retain his holdings, but the price is right. And well, like I said, it's to keep Haku safe, because if I can't go with him. He can't stay here. If he doesn't get help, he's gonna die. So after a while, Naruto like says he basically is like, so that's what's going to be happening. And Naruto like turns to Tazuna and he's like, and he apologizes. He's like, I'm sorry, I destroyed part of the bridge. And this is when Naruto like actually has one of his genius moments, and he's like, wait, Kakashi Sensei, are we leaving soon? And Kakashi's like, well, the thing is, someone's coming here to pick up young Hana. And we still have to finish, like, our job isn't done until a bridge is complete. So with that, Naruto begins to grin. He's like, Sensei, you act like that's gonna take a while. And Kakashi's like, Naruto, what do you have planned? He's like, well, I have access to the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and well, Zabuza here, he has access to the Water Clone Jutsu. He then turns to Zabuza, grinning, and he's like, Zabuza, you said you wanted to redeem yourself or find a path that you can make Haku proud. How many clones can you make? And Zabuza like smiles and laughs and chuckles a little bit. My limit's 2. But I think I get what you're going at. Kakashi then says, Naruto, you're going to use shadow clones, aren't you? And Naruto chuckles. He's like, yeah, they can move stuff. They actually have physical form and all this other stuff. So wouldn't we be able to, like, because I want to help fix the bridge. So they spend like another day like working out the details, because Zabuza's saying he's not going to do any extra work if he's not going to get paid for it. So Tazuna is able to scrounge up some more money to like pay Zabuza. God, I cannot say that guy's name properly. My apologies, and I'm sorry if this part is all blasé, but they get to the bridge like the following day, and he goes over the plans with like Tazuna, and Tazuna explains what he needs like Naruto to do, and then Naruto says Shadow Clone Jutsu, multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu, and about 50 Shadow Clones pop up. Like both Zabuza, Kakashi's a little, like, slightly surprised, but he's like, he's Uzumaki. Makes sense, plus he has that. So Zabuza's like a little shocked. He's like, this kid, if he would have went all out, he would have destroyed us. And then Zabuza creates these two clones. Kakashi even creates one clone, and with both Sasuke and Sakura there, they end up actually completing the bridge a lot sooner than they do in canon. Because after that first day of them actually helping out, a good portion of it was about 10%. It was about 25% left of the bridge to be done. Basically, all the damage that had been done, they had repaired, and at the end of the day, when Naruto released all the clones, he just fell over, down, because of all the mental images come up, and Kakashi's just kind of grinning a little bit underneath his mask. Zabuza chuckles a little bit too, because he's because they both knew what would happen. Because the whole backlash of the Shadow Clones happening, but Naruto has never used his Shadow Clones to this extent. So there's a lot of information that came through. So when Naruto wakes up the next day, he actually asks Kakashi, he's like, oh, what happened? I felt like I got hit by a truck. Kakashi explains. He basically somewhat reveals the secret idea behind the Shadow Clone technique, but not explicitly saying it. And Naruto's like, oh, I never really noticed it anymore. Wait, Hana. And he looks over at Hana's bed, and she's still going in, she's still out cold. And so he goes down, he gets ready, goes downstairs and gets eat. And he today he only makes 5 Shadow Clones to help out. Basically, Kakashi said you do receive some backlash from it, from using the technique, and that's why it's a forbidden technique. So they end up getting a little bit more done that day, and also a lot more of the villagers show up because they've had some talks with Haku. Haku is conscious. She is still a little bit underneath, and Kakashi is everything. So a lot more of the villagers return to help Tazan out. And they're able to get the bridge almost done, and it would only take them another day. Because with Kakashi there and Zabuza there, they're using the water because Zabuza has water. I think he may have water release. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But also, I think Kakashi has water chakra nature simply because of the nature of the Sharingan and everything. But Zabuza is basically helping clear out the water so that they can put the pillars in that much easier, the pylons and everything. So after less time than what it took them in canon, they're able to complete the bridge. So they spend a day resting up and kind of going around the rest of the village, and a lot of the villagers are praising them and everything, and they basically complete their mission. On their way leaving, Haku is kind of crying, while Naruto is kind of had like his sister on his back, and then he just hears Hana like say something. This is brother sense. As she like falls unconscious again, basically going into like that coma-like state. Naruto heard this and he smiles at this. So Zabuza and like tells Haku that you're an unknown nin. Like you have a chance to go to the village and make a life. Always going to be an outlaw. I promise. We'll meet again, Haku. Just be better than I was. I'm sorry if... Anyway, kid, get out of here. As he, like, pushes Hishi away. And they start making their way back to the Leaf Village. This is when Sasuke asks Naruto, and he's like, Naruto, when we get back, we need to train. And this is when Sakura pipes up as well, and she's like, yeah, Naruto, I'm sorry I didn't do anything to help out. Naruto just says, it's fine. Hold on. Sensei, can you hold Hana? And then Naruto, like, proceeds to take off his shirt, and Haku's like, what are you doing? And he's like, one moment. So Naruto pulls off, like, the weighted flat jacket that he wears, and he puts it on the ground. And then he puts his clothes back on. And he hands the jacket to Sasuke, and Sasuke, like, goes to, like, topple over it, and he catches himself, and he's like, and Naruto's like, whew, I can breathe a lot better now. And Haku's like, this can't be that heavy. And she goes to, like, pick it, to grab it, and he's like, what the hell? And Naruto's like, yeah, as he, like, gets his sister again on his back. Because Naruto's like, I'm going to carry her. She's my sister. And he then proceeds to tell Sasuke, he's like, carry this for a while. And then when you get tired, hey, Sakura, can you actually lift this? And she, like, grabs it, and she's like, oh, yeah. And he's like, and then he turns to Haku, and he's like, well, you seem like you can carry it. You guys switch off carrying that. It will help build some strength up. And Sasuke's like, wait, you've been doing this your whole life? And Naruto's like, not my whole life. Dad, Guy Sensei, he came by one time, and Kakashi's like, yeah, Guy has this thing. And Naruto basically explains that they wear weighted clothing. Even Hana here has weights on, which shocks Sasuke, Haku, and Sakura. Kakashi already knew this, and they're like, wait, how are you able to carry that? And Naruto just smiles and is like, well, that's why I kinda needed you to take that. And Kakashi Sensei, maybe in a few hours, could you, like, take Hana so I can catch my breath myself? And so they continue on their journey, occasionally, like, with Sasuke, Sakura, and even Haku switching off with the flat jacket. When they're about a day away from, like, getting back to the Leaf, this is when they hear like, two people arguing. And Naruto immediately recognizes the voice. He's like, she got hurt. We shouldn't have let her leave. Mia, calm down. You know, like, I'm as mad as you, okay? But she This is how this world operates. And no one else can understand what these people are saying because they're speaking in a different language. Naruto, on the other hand, knows exactly what they're saying. And Naruto just gets a chill down his spine. And he's like, and everyone looks at him and he's like, what? And he's like, Kakashi Sensei, you said they were going to be sending someone out to come and get us. Yeah, it's like, you could have said it was my parents. And right when Naruto says that, both Mia and Kenichi pop up. Immediately, Haku goes white because he just heard, like, she just heard that this was apparently the girl that they hurt in Naruto's parents. Yeah. Kenichi then glares at Haku. And by this point, most of you can tell where I'm going with this. Is just glaring at Haku with, like, murder in his eyes. And Mia just smacks him in the back of the head, and everyone just hears a loud thump as Kenichi goes into the ground. Mia then looks at Haku, and he's like, young lady, I'm sorry for my husband, but we are going to have a talk later. Everyone is shocked at this, and Naruto's like, wait, Haku, you said you were a guy. And Haku's like, yeah, it's easier if people think I'm a guy. I'm sorry. And this is when Kakashi kind of, like, chuckles a little bit. And Naruto just looks at it and, like, wait, you knew? And Kakashi, like, says, kind of nods his head. So, this is where this part is going to end. Once I get home, I will record the next part. This part won't have a light goal, but the next part will. I'm sorry if this one was a little bit all over the place. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't have my notes from the first part because I had to start in another notebook. And I forgot to grab that one when I left. So, that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below what you thought of this part. Also, join my Discord. It'll be in the description area. And with that, I will see you beautiful souls in the next part.